I think 2021 is the year that Google finally starts taking marketing as it relates to the Google Pixel line even more serious than before. And they're going to have a lot of choices. I think there's going to be 4 Pixel devices to choose from in 2021. What's up, everybody? This is Scott. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to tell you why I think there's 4 Google Pixel devices that are coming this year in 2021, ranging from the A line that we're all accustomed to seeing all the way through a Pixel Foldable. So these are in no particular order at all. This is just kind of the rumor mill that you see out there in the tech community, but I am a big Pixel fan. So I do have some thoughts that I think are going to come out of the different 4 Pixels that you'll see this year. The first one is the Pixel 5a. Now I think the Pixel 5a is going to basically be a smaller sibling of that of the Pixel 4a 5G. I still think you're going to see that 16 megapixel and 12 megapixel rear shooter that you had on the Pixel 5 in the Pixel 4a 5G as well. So I think you're going to have very similar camera specs as they relate to that. I think you're going to start to see a 765 chip come out of that. Again, the same one that was used in the 4a 5G and the Pixel 5 as well. I think you're going to start to see the exact same battery life, the battery life Sipper or the Champion that I like to see. But I do believe you're going to start to see some omissions to make sure that the price can stay down on the A line. I think you're going to see no wireless charging at all. I do believe you're going to start to see not under the glass speakers, which is, if you're like everybody and their brother out there, you just eviscerated the Pixel 5 as it relates to the speakers being under the glass. I don't think you're going to see that. I think you'll see them go back to the stereo speakers. So everybody can rejoice that Google made the mistake with the Pixel 5 and then immediately got away with it in the Pixel 4a 5G, the Pixel 5, Pixel 5a, and then every single Pixel that's coming out in the remainder part of 2021. But the more important thing is I think you're going to have an affordable price. I don't think you're going to see anything that's more than 450 bucks. I would be really surprised if you saw something that was more than 450 bucks. I think they're going to do the exact same thing as they did last year and say, hey, this was 350. I think you're going to get another $100 price bump and go to 450 because, you know, the 5G and the whole 9 yards and all that other stuff. I don't think you're going to see the Whitechapel chip in the affordable A line, probably the last of the A line to have that, but I think you're going to see it about 450 bucks. Now the Pixel 6, this is not the Pixel 6 Pro, but I'm going to talk about the second Pixel that I think is going to come out, which is the Pixel 6. Pixel 6 is rumored to be about 6.41 inches, so just slightly bigger than that of the Pixel 5. And the XL version, which will be the Pixel 6 Pro, it's rumored to be about 6.71 inches. So the Pro is going to be the XL version like that of the past, and the regular Pixel 6 is going to be like the smaller version, the more pocketable version, so to speak. Pixel 6 is rumored to have 8 gigs of RAM and a configuration of storage of 128 to 256 gigs of storage. I completely believe that's going to be the case. I think from a price point perspective, Google would do really well to keep the regular Pixel 6 about $799, probably no more than $799. If I had to take a wild guess with the spacing of the 4 pixels that they would have, I would say $450, $799, $999, and $1,200 for the foldable. That feels about right in comparison to where the industry would be going. I think you're going to see about a 4,600, 4,500 milliamp hour battery out of the Pixel 6. But the biggest thing that's going to be changing is for the first time they're changing the sensors that you see in the back. I think you're going to have a dual sensor shooter on the back. The first will be like a 50 megapixel shooter that you'll see out there, which will be the wide, and then a 12 megapixel that you're already used to seeing in a lot of the Pixels that they have right now as the ultra wide. It's rumored that there's going to be a whole lot of crazy like telephoto zoom, super zoom res that are out there. I think there's going to be a lot of AI software generation because they're going to have the ability to do those particular types of things because the chipset inside is going to be the Whitechapel chip, the very first one that Google has made under their own umbrella. One thing that I do certainly hope that they don't do is an under the screen fingerprint scanner because I absolutely hate those. I certainly hope they go to something in the back. All of the renders basically render me completely wrong in saying that there'll be something like that, like a fingerprint scanner on the back. I'll be the first to tell you I am super disappointed by that being the fact. I really like the fingerprint scanner on the back. I don't think it takes away anything at all aesthetically. I don't care what anybody says. It is the optimal placement as it relates to all fingerprint scanners. I am team fingerprint scanner on the back for sure, because it just makes the most sense. Next up is the Pixel 6 Pro. It's personally the one I am the most excited about. Now, the Pixel 6 Pro is rumored to come with a massive 12 gigs of RAM, which is a first for Google devices that are out there, especially in this Pixel line, and a configuration of 128, 256, or 512 when it comes to storage. Again, Google is not one to ever do that. They are definitely going at Apple when it relates to the Pixel 6 Pro. Equipped with that same Whitechapel chip, and then a triple camera setup, and I'm looking down at my notes right here, a triple camera setup of 50 megapixels, 48 megapixel, that's a tele, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and a front facing camera of 12 megapixels, which means Google is finally getting a little bit serious as it relates to getting that front facing camera into potentially 4K or even 8K on the rear. I am here for the energy, all of the energy that's related to the Pixel 6 Pro. I think that device is probably going to be somewhere between, if I had to take a wild guess, $1099, maybe $999. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, if they can give me a Pixel 6 Pro with triple camera setup and all the computational awesomeness photography that Google already has for $999, whoo boy, that is going to be a great device. And actually, I'm going to be making a video on why I believe the Pixel 6 Pro, based on what I just talked about, is the top device of the year. If I have made that video, it will be linked here. If I have not made that video and I just made it after the fact, it will also be linked here. And the last Pixel that I think you'll see this year, and I made a whole video all about that, and I will link it up here, is the Pixel Foldable. I believe that you are finally going to see a $1,200 Pixel Foldable. In the video, I talked about how I thought it was going to have very similar cameras to that of the Pixel 5, which means they're awesome. Not as awesome as some of the ones I just talked about, but it is a first generation project, and also from the sheer fact that they had to cut costs somewhere. It's going to come in about 7.6 inches when it's all the way open, about 6 inches, 5 3/4 inches as it relates to when the device is closed in the style of the Z Fold 2. I think you're going to have a Z Fold 2 type flavor, which means you're going to have Google software and the Samsung hardware experience, which is like the perfect mix of a phone for. Yeah, personally, I'm really excited about the foldable as well. The Pixel 6 Pro and the foldable are probably going to be insta day one buys for me if they are in fact true to be like this. But that means to me, Google coming out with 4 devices, an affordable line, getting you into the Google ecosystem, and then a foldable that is very much approachable, whereas not approachable for either Apple, because they don't have a foldable at the moment, Samsung, because they usually cost somewhere between $1,800 and $2,000, and the Surface Duo, which was kind of a flop, if I'm going to be completely honest, because they're on a fire sale right now. But at $1,200, that very much makes it an approachable device. For comparison of costs, and I said this in my video, I bought an iPhone 12 Pro 256 storage. Now that configuration cost me just a little bit more than $1,300. That means I could theoretically buy a foldable Pixel for the exact same cost. That makes a foldable much more approachable to the general market. And if you get those in carrier, either AT&T, Verizon, or anything else, and get those on a payment plan like you would every other iPhone, I believe that the foldable will actually sell. So leave a comment below if you believe I'm right in expecting 4 Pixels this year, or 4 Pixels announced this year in 2021. So that's it. That's all I have. As always, like, share, subscribe, thumbs up, leave a comment below. We'll see you next time.